Good morning. Pastor Luke here. We'll wait just a couple seconds as people jump on and join us as we navigate this Lenten series that we're doing called Everyone Needs Some Cave Time. It's a great book. I encourage you, even if you're jumping in now, to go and grab the book by Dr. George Azevedo. He walks through these cave experiences that those who have followed God have found themselves in, and how those really speak to us in our world today. And so this week we're focusing on the cave of grief. And so this last Sunday, Pastor Dion came and shared a message with us about this cave of grief and what that looks like, not only in Scripture, to experience those who have followed God. Those that have a deep faith can still experience this season, this time of grief, and how in our world today we experience the same things. We experience grief and loss when it comes to broken relationships, when it comes to difficult situations, maybe at work, in our careers, with the loss of loved ones, the loss of hopes and dreams, the loss of the way we hoped the world would be. And so what do we do with that? How does our faith speak to it? And so today, one of the verses I want to share with you, and you're welcome to read the whole thing, is something that maybe you would experience if you attended a funeral. Words that you would hear shared with people who are grieving. And so it's out of Psalm 23, and I'm just going to read the first little part here. It says, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil." Now, Psalm 23 is one of those passages that we hear at funerals. We hear when maybe we're in our time of grief, we're experiencing some category of grief. As if you were in our community groups, we shared a chart of how we grieve, of the process with which we go through, where there's denial, there's acceptance, there's anger, there's those pieces. And at the end of the grief process, we have to decide. We have to decide for ourselves: are we going to keep pushing back? Are we going to figure out a way to move forward? Are we going to figure out a way to take the next step? And so in grief, what are the things that in our lives, as we grieve, as we go through these processes, knowing that we can't afford, we can't really avoid grief, that grief is going to find us, that we will have experiences because we are created to be in community. We're created to be with one another. We're created to be in relationship. And in those relationships, we experience loss in a wide variety of ways. And so knowing that grief will find us, that we will experience grief, how does our faith speak to that? How do we navigate those pieces? And I've been thinking about this. I'm preparing to preach this next week on the cave of hopelessness, which is probably one of the strangest titles for a sermon that I've probably preached. But this idea, as we get ready for Palm Sunday, the grief that really Christians have experienced, the grief that the world experiences, the grief within our last week of experiencing what's going on in our world globally, what's happening in our country. We hear all kinds of things of people experiencing losses that we can't even imagine, of things like what happened in Nashville yesterday. This grief that seems to be a common thread in all of our lives. And so what does our faith have to say? What does our faith have to do with this idea of grief? And I think we see that in the person of Jesus, that Jesus, he grieves. He experiences loss in much the same ways you and I experience it. And yet his faith, his hope for what God is trying to do compels him to move forward. And so these verses out of Psalms really remind us that when we grieve, when we find ourselves in this experience, it's really easy for us to stay there, to kind of plant our feet, to then be in fear of caring for other people again after we've experienced the loss of a loved one, of trying to dream again, of having hopes again, of setting goals, of trying our best to reach out to maybe broken relationships. And so Jesus encourages us that we can try again, that in this cave of grief that we experience, this cave that we navigate maybe more than we like to admit, this cave experience is one that if left alone, we will stay there for quite some time. And so Jesus is encouraging us to come out of the cave, to turn back, to start hoping and dreaming, to start connecting and reaching out again, because there is nothing for us to fear. Even when we're in this dark place, fears can begin to creep in, and our faith encourages us to push back. And so today, so this week, as we get ready for Holy Week next week, as we lead up to Easter, this great celebration, as we experience Maundy Thursday, as we experience Good Friday and into Easter, what are the things that we've been grieving? What are the things that really have kept us from hoping again? What are the things that really have prevented us from caring for others again, of trying again, of dreaming again? Those things that grieve us are the things that can also blind us to what God is trying to do all around us, what God is calling us into. And so I encourage you this week, however you process, however you think through these things, whether it's maybe writing things down. I think that's really important to journal and write thoughts down and come back to them and visit them, whether it's having a conversation with someone you trust, whether it's just going to a place and really processing thoughts around grieving. I encourage you to really get to the bottom of what it is that you're really grieving over, and voice it. Give it a name. Give it a category. Give it a face if it has a face, and then ask God to help remove the fear that's created. Ask God to help you try again, to dream again, to give you new hope. To encourage you to connect with people, to reinforce and rebuild relationships, even if it's a fearful thing for you to do. And so thank you for joining us this morning. It's been great to be together. We're doing some work at our house, so I'm in a random room here this morning waiting for the kids to get up and run around like crazy as we get ready for school. But it is great to be with you. My hope is that you're getting prepared for not only the completion of this Lenten journey, but for Holy Week to join us, to be with us Palm Sunday. This Sunday, we'll have a great message. We'll have Easter egg hunt. We'll have all kinds of stuff for young families. We would love for you to join us and be a part of that, and then join us for Holy Week as we really stop and pause to take in this experience. This time of the year that really starts our Christian calendar, that anchors us not only in this year, but every year for Christians. And so we invite you to be a part of that. And so have a great morning. I'm praying for each of you. And if there's anything we can do as a church, if there's anything we can do as a clergy team to help you in this process, to process maybe some grieving, that kind of thing, we would love to partner with you in that. And so have a great day, and we'll see you all tomorrow. See you.